Coming up on Veterans Matters, we take a look back at parts 1 through 5 of a day in the life of a student vet. That's coming up next on Veterans Matters.
But those classes that I'm taking to prepare for my PhD, it's going to just bust me over the head.
That's not calculating in your master's GPA.
Oh, it's not?
Oh, those are undergrad. Unless they were undergrad classes, because you have some people who you know, they might graduate and grab their degree, but they still might take some undergrad classes, say, just to raise that undergrad GPA. So you'll be fine.
Oh, so my undergrad GPA wasn't, well, it actually wasn't that good. It was only like a 3.0. But that's because of that first semester when I dropped out to go to work. That's why I've been so adamant, like, I got an offer 3 days ago. I think I told you about that. But now it's at the point like, man, I'm not dropping out for nothing. I learned my lesson from that. And then even now, like, I'm running my GI bills up this semester, but I'm finishing my master's this semester, but then I still have work study, and I still got a lot of scholarships and stuff available. So, boy, I don't know, Navy thinking like, man, we should just kept him in. Maybe that's cheaper. But that was the only reason. The only reason I got out was to go to school. If they let me keep going to school in there, I'll be in there now.
Right.
Coming up on 13 years. What's your schedule like? And so I'm looking at it and I'm a little annoyed because I'm broke because the VA is all backed up as far as like money. Like I submitted 2 checks. I haven't got no checks yet. My GI Bill money ain't come through yet. My financial aid ain't come through yet.
Mine either.
I'm like ridiculously broke right now.
I had to go over there and talk to them yesterday. They done took some of my loan cards from my business. I don't know what they got going on.
So I'm broke as hell, man. So now what it's looking like is I'm at the Dry the Champagne tonight, come back. Dry the Champagne Saturday, come back. Dry the Champagne Monday, because I got a Monday night class, and then Dry the Champagne Tuesday. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't have the money. Like, I had to call my father last night to help me out.
You can't stay the night?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to go ahead and just post up with my cousin and my brother's house. But I still can't do that Monday night because I got class here in the morning. Plus, the girls got to be in school. I'm going to probably stay there tonight, though. You know, I'm working this work study. I've been working for a whole thing. Is that the money that's supposed to come in my financial aid refund? That's not coming. So, I mean, all in all, we looking at a couple of $1,000 that I'm just not getting right now. Right. I gotta call the VA and check on Josh's paperwork. So,
That's the doing this, right?
yeah, I'm gonna be on, I could probably call the VA when I enter class, and they'll pick up the phone right around the time I get out of class.
They'll tell you it's the wrong number. Oh no, you need to call extension 225.
Like my graduate program, none of the classes are offered before 6 in the evening. So my kids are in school all day, and I'm not going to school. And then as soon as they get out of school, I got to go to school. So now I got to find babysitters and stuff like that. And I'm like, and I understand that they were trying to set the program up so that people who work can go to the classes. But I'm like, man, you can't have any classes in the daytime because not everybody is working who's going to grad school. Just remember how crazy it was when I was trying to find a babysitter and everything like that. And everybody was charging all these outrageous prices. And I was like, man, I feel your pain, man. This is crazy. It ain't like I'm trying to get a babysitter to go to the club. I hardly ever get to go out anyway. You know, I need somebody to watch my kids so I can go to work or go to class. And as soon as I get out of either, I'm picking the kids up. Well, I gotta pay you $90. So you got work at 10?
All right, man. Ready to get it in. All right, bro. Have a good one, man. I'll holler at you later.
All right, later.
How often do you think about your time serving, like while you're going, like doing what you're doing now?
Oh, I mean, since I work in veteran services, typically it comes up every day, either dealing with veterans, dealing with guys who have issues, or just swapping stories back and forth. Because of my position, it typically comes up every day. Before I started working with veteran services, it wasn't really something I thought of on a daily basis, more along the lines of I just trying to find that feeling of doing something that mattered again. You know, I used to think about it that way, but nowadays, yeah, it's pretty much an everyday thing.
Are you done serving in the military, or are you planning on going back at all?
Nah, well, I won't go back enlisted, but say I'm finishing up my master's and I'm going for a PhD, so I'm going to try to get a commission when I finish up. Yeah. Hopefully I won't be too old, because I'm pretty sure there's an age limit, and I'm getting close to it.
Basically, all we really want to do is have our fun, but we want to be able to make sure that the other vets on campus are getting what they need, that they have somebody to watch their kids if they have kids like myself and Danelle, or if they need somebody to help study, or if they need to make sure that their veterans benefits are all in order. We want to be there to help them. We want to be able to support them. We want to have the same camaraderie we had when we were active duty, because that's the most thing that we miss. That old tradition, you work hard, you play hard. We've always worked harder than normal people, and we play a lot harder than we work, because when we're on free time, that's when we really do most of our bonding. I am a Navy vet. I am a Petty Officer Second Class. I've done 4.5 years on active duty before I got off to get my associate's degree up at up north in Rockford. After I got off active duty, I was a reservist. I re-enlisted as a reservist in 2007. In 2007, I was recalled to active duty to go serve in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I spent 10 months on active duty with all my training, and then finally deploying to Iraq. Came back and came here. I got back in April, or in March, at the end of March, did my audition here, and in April is when I did my audition and came here the following August. So, and it's been a great experience. I think it was harder coming here than it was going to Rock Valley, because I still had family around, and when I first came here, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have babysitters. I didn't have any of that. And so I had to find my network that I was used to. I had no military friends here, because nobody's out here, until I ran into a bunch of these guys. It was actually my neighbor, who I ended up having a drill with, that got me turned on to this organization in 2008. And he said, you need to come and hang out with us. So in 2009, I actually went to my first meeting, and I've been with him ever since. I like that we have a community here that is open-minded enough to support the veterans, that are willing to give us that extra help that we need, because there are people that have troubles readjusting to this life, and with some of us, with all our different experiences, we're able to be that shoulder that somebody needs to lean on. The biggest downfall about being a full-time college student is that I am also a full-time mom and a drilling reservist, so scheduling my time accordingly to have the family time is probably one of the hardest things that I do, because I want to make sure that I give both of them, since they're both getting up into the preteen years. Being able to spend time with my daughters is really hard, and finding things that the three of us have in common. I grew up with guys all around. I grew up playing football, climbing trees, and they're girls. They like pink and frills and spending time, playing princesses and Barbies, and I'm like, can we just go roll around in the mud? That would be great. My youngest daughter, we're celebrating her 10th birthday early, because her birthday's in the summer, and usually in the summer she's at her father's, and so I always celebrate her birthday closer to her half birthday, which is Christmas. And we are going to the bowling alley here on campus and having pizza and cake, well, cupcakes, because there are more of those cupcakes. And bowling with a bunch of her friends. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout with the kids that are supposed to be coming. Before the birthday party, we have our Knights meeting at 6, and that is, we're voting in, we're trying to figure out new members in the business that's at hand and trying to figure out different fundraisers to send the team to Las Cruces for the Baton Memorial Death March. So it proves to be a very beneficial day. I have to go get balloons and plates and pizza and party favors for the kids. So
Never a dull moment, always full of stuff.
always full. And then I get to finish my homework afterwards.
Do you like it that way? Nice and full. I mean, I imagine
I-
the days of serving, you probably had nice full days where there weren't many breaks. I imagine you like it.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, I got off active duty, and when I went to the reserve unit, I was like, I don't know, because they didn't place me right away. And I like the stress. I like to be able to say, okay, I accomplished something today. And a lot of people, they don't click with that. It's like, I like being able to sit in my little bubble, and my bubble is all I have. But having been active duty right out of high school and then coming to college, it's like, all right, I can do more. Tell me what I can do to help you. You know, and whether it's, you know, another student in one of my classes or if it's one of my fellow vets, I mean, I want to be able to help them. Too many things going on at once, you don't get the people coming in, so.
So it's gonna be a little rough, but you do okay.
Yeah. Make sure you don't stretch you guys too thin.
That's the hardest part. There's a lot of
Make
work.
sure you keep up with school and all that, so.
I actually gotta go do some homework tonight. We draw. We draw and paint, and we'll stay there all night, 4 o'clock in the morning. Get work done. I'll check financial aid real quick.
I'll be okay. And that's the GI Bill, so no, it isn't. Well, I think she touched on
Well,
both.
the thing is, the GI Bill, did you register online? Because a lot of us haven't been getting paid. Like, if you call to register, like, you probably won't get paid.
She said that I did mine online. Nancy was telling me that there's over $250,000 pending in requests for GI Bill money right now. At the same time. The money I got coming is the loan money I got through FAFSA. I haven't checked in a while. Last time I checked, it was just, they just had the summer. They got their fall up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you might want to do also is check the work study program thing, and then that's how to So you want to do that ASAP. Because, like, a lot of the jobs get taken up fast.
Well, I don't think I really have time for work study.
But it'll be like in between anything that you need to do. Like, that's normally how it works.
Graphic design stuff, man. Like, any free time I have should be going to doing my artwork, and the more I put in, the better my grade will be. So, kind of.
I mean, but it all depends on your schedule too.
Well, I mean, I never take Friday classes, and it's kind of like the math class you were telling me about.
Emailed him, he emailed me back, and we found the class. The class is on Monday.
You have to make up work. What all are these for?
This is for the free throw. This is for a 3-point. 2 trophies.
Gotcha.
6-inch.
And what about all those?
Those is medals for.
First, second, and third place, so that's 9 of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. That's 15.
Why?
Because it's 15 because there's 5 people that can sign up per team.
Oh.
And if you realize it, I didn't put a date on it.
Right.
So if we host a tournament next year, we'll have those trophies in storage, and we'll be able to
I was going to ask you,
use
what do
them
you think
again.
about just giving first place medals?
Just give them first place on?
Yeah, and
that.
everyone else get kind of like a certificate. So, I mean,
Everything is squared away, and I also got the sign-in sheet, tournament personnel. What we're gonna do is at the meeting tonight, we're gonna tell them where we put everybody, and then we're gonna ask if anybody wants to help and volunteer anyone else. So, but I gotta run to my vehicle, so.
all right, thanks, man. Good job, dude. I would say that the hardest thing for me is the planning. Every night before I go to bed, I have to think about exactly what I have to do the next day. That's where a lot of the military training came into help, because you don't just go for the next day. You also go into, well, what's the checklist for the next week? What's the checklist for the next month? Overall, what kind of goals do I have? Then you have to prioritize. So just last night, I was planning out this morning. I knew I had to start off at the radio station, and I had to think about if there was anything else that I could link up to knock out around the same area. While I'm here on campus, I also had to stop by financial aid to figure out or find out if the GI Bill is getting dispersed, if financial aid is getting dispersed. Along the way, also advertising the events we have coming up for my organization, advertising the things my organization is doing, and trying to reach out and get as much help as I can for the veterans, as much help as I can for my group, so that way some of the burden can be lightened for the group. So I'm known as Superman amongst my friends, nickname, because I choose to pick up the burden of the world. Quite a while ago in the growing up stages of life, I realized that that's not what makes me Superman. It's the ability to pull together the Justice League of heroes that I like to have. I meet all these like-minded people, and it's not about how much I can do on my own. It's about how much I can do with the help of others.
I had a platoon of 120-something Marines, and probably I was one of 13 corporals, and every one of those Marines relied on me for something. And it wasn't, just because they were incapable of doing it, but they knew that I was the person that could help them. So I respected that a lot, and it taught me a lot, about myself, taught me to be more responsible. I matured a lot for my age. I went into the Marine Corps at the age of 19, and I was a corporal before, I went in just before the age 20, and I was a corporal, at the age of 21, and that's pretty young, especially when I've got guys below me that, are in their 30s and have families of their own, and I'm the single guy that doesn't have a wife, doesn't have any kids, so it puts a lot of things in perspective for me in general, just because there's so much that I could be doing that I wasn't doing because I was busy doing other things. I committed a lot of time to my time in the Marine Corps, and I put it first in a lot of things. And whenever I got out last year and I started working, the guys that knew me before I went in would tell me that, that I seem a lot more mature, a lot more disciplined and responsible. There are a lot of things that have changed my life since being in the Marine Corps. In particular, going to school, I had absolutely no intention of going to college whenever I went into the Marine Corps. I went into the Marine Corps with the intention of just getting that experience and putting it on my resume, so that whenever I got out, I could go and just work anywhere that I wanted to. I could apply to the police department, and they're going to hire me just because I was in the Marines. That was kind of the attitude that I had. But after being in the Marine Corps, I learned that there's a lot of other things that I could be doing, and it gave me that drive to go to college, because now there's so much more. I don't want to just be a cop. Like, I want to do so much more with it. I want to go into the FBI, and I want to actually do things on a much bigger scale. And in order to do that, I need a degree. So coming to college, I'm not coming to college with the intention of partying and doing all the things that most of the typical college students would do. My focus is primarily on just getting my degree, doing what I have to do, making the good grades so that when it's all said and done, I have the tools that I need. You know, I have the 4 years military on my resume. I have, you know, that degree, and I have that sense of responsibility. I have that drive and that motivation and that discipline, and it's really like it's been a driving force for me. Interacting with those guys, like I immediately felt like I could work, I could, you know, socialize with these people. I could talk to them, and I could say everything that's on my mind, and I knew that they understood where I was coming from, and every story that every one of those guys say, we understand, and it created that social outlet, you know, that camaraderie, that sense of brotherhood.
That should be good.
I'll try that.
Where did you serve?
101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay. And how long were you deployed?
I was deployed between Kosovo and Iraq. I was deployed over 2 years. I had some stresses between Scud missile attacks, mortar attacks, bullets bouncing off the walls, and Humvees and everything else. I'd say my most enjoyable experience was being able to be at the first mass grave site that was uncovered in Iraq, because I think it gave myself more of a sense of why we were there. Because during that time, the issue of weapons of mass destruction came up, and we weren't finding anything over there. But once we found that first mass grave site, it brought a lot of closure to the Kurdish people, which is in northern part of Iraq. And my best experience was being able to work for directly under General Petraeus. I was his combat communicator.
I was served for 9 years. The first 4 years were in Louisiana, stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base. And then the last 5 years were in England at RAF Lakenheath. And I served Iraq twice, in 2003 and 2008.
Is joining the military, was that something that you wanted to do? How did you come about wanting to serve some time?
It was actually. I wanted to join right out of high school, and then my parents kind of persuaded me not to, and to pursue school for a while. So I went to Lakeland for a couple of years, and then I inevitably went into the Air Force. I wanted to travel and see more than Charleston, so.
So having put in 9 years, and now, you know, how often do you reflect about your time that you did serve?
Well, I was an air traffic controller, and so usually when I go to Champaign, I do actually a lot because of the airport there, and I miss the controlling of the aircraft at times.
And how has that shaped you as a person now? I mean, obviously you're still, you know, kind of a young person, but I mean, how has it molded you as, you know, the years have passed by?
I would probably say it gave me a broader perspective on just life and just the world in general, as far as the traveling is concerned. Living in England and stuff, you see the perspectives from both sides, not just from the United States.
You go back to this and be dumping them in.
Yeah.
That's what I was
I'm going to leave it over there.
Okay, this one, oh, you're going to put this over there?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, the thing that was really neat for me back then, I mean, I came from a town of 200 people in southern Illinois, and I was to St. Louis by the time I was 18, and that was it. That was my travels. And, you know, so I went from that to, you know, getting on a plane and all excited because I was going to San Diego, California, and then the same breath realizing I'm going into boot camp, you know, and it kind of worried me. But I did get to meet a lot of folks from around the country, and you know, it was just people that, you know, you're not going to know much about Grassy, Missouri, but you know, if you're, you know, bunkmates with the guy that's going to tell you every detail about the town, or, you know, I had another buddy from Victoria, Texas, and just, you know, and then some of the East Coast Marines, just hearing things about the boroughs in New York, and so you got that experience that I guess if you went to a major four-year college that had students from all over the country, you would get the same effect. But you know, this was more of the C students that I got to talk with, so it was kind of, you know, it was neat in that way. You know, I went in really overweight. I probably shouldn't have went in back then, but I almost did 3 pull-ups, which is embarrassing to admit now. And I lost, like, I went from like a 42-inch waist to like a 32-inch waist in 3 months. So it was a big experience physically for me. And I don't know, it just felt like I kind of grew up then, you know. But I still didn't really know what I wanted to do with you know, life in general. I just kind of was, you know, just doing the Marine Corps thing. And
How often do you reflect on when you did serve?
It was funny, when I turned 38, I was shaving one morning, and I realized that it's like, wow, you know, and at that time I kind of went through a health phase in my life and started working out and, you know, doing a lot of cardio and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, was a lot more mature, but it did dawn on me that it's like, you know, I could have been done with my 20, you know, and I felt still pretty young, you know, but when you're 18, I just thought, man, it'd be forever in the service, you know, if you had to stay here 20 years, and, you know, I don't know, I think back to a lot of the guys and gals I knew when I was in, and just, you know, I wonder where they're at. I kind of wish Facebook existed back then, because I lost touch with some of them, and I've kind of reconnected with a few. But you know, I was always with either the 3 years in California. I was with office people, so I tried finding my old boss and couldn't find him, and he would have been quite a bit up there in age. But my last year, I was with a wing with an engineer detachment, and I've always, even at the offices, was in an engineer office. You know, it was cool. I mean, I always liked that feeling, like when we'd go on, do our little war games or whatever, and we had to set up a perimeter, and it would just be like, wow, we're like it, you know. I mean, we're like the line of defense, and you know, like I say, thank goodness it was peacetime. But you know, it did give you that feeling that. You know, this can be done. I mean, you kind of understood that it's like, well, you follow your training and you do what you're supposed to do, and like I say, thank God it was all peacetime, and you know, but I had I guess a self-confidence that, you know, you just sometimes have to do what you got to do, and it'll work out.